a certain number was promised to be by my media agency. By investing this 8-9 crore on IPL, you will get to a certain number of people. Fair enough. So the campaign starts, IPL starts, and I'm looking at my matrix on a daily basis, and I'm seeing that the numbers are flatlining. Like, ye kya ho raha hai? So within the first 3 months, I failed spectacularly. I almost like batti laga di thi 8 crore rupees ki. A well thought of brand ambassador like leads a lot of equity to the company.
Right.
And this is something that I've been doing. At OLX, I had like Kapil Sharma as the first brand ambassador. He did phenomenally well for us. But I also had Allu Arjun, Dhanush, and a couple of others for the southern markets, and so on and so forth. So I think if you do your homework properly, these can be force multipliers. I mean, the wearables category, the smartwatch category is at about $800 million today. By 28, is expected to be about $3.2 billion. And this is one category where Indian brands have beaten the Chinese brands.
Okay, awesome.
You have to just like look at the broad strokes. I had to let go of 1.5 crore worth of stocks, right? So JD be damned. I mean, like I was letting go of the money so much. In 2013, would have been like much more. And this kind of stupidity has remained with me throughout my career. Amar didn't give me a very big hike also. He gave me a 35 lakh. ठीक है, मतलब कि 20 odd %, but ठीक है. I said कि यार, नहीं छोड़ दो. But the first 6-8 months did well, and he gave me an out-of-turn promotion hike and made it 45 lakh within 6-7 months.
Right, Gaurav, आपने अच्छी बातें तो बता दी. 35-45 तक आपका रेस हो गया. But what were the challenges that you were facing as a CMO at OLX? Because it's a relatively new brand. आपको बहुत सारी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, establishment करना पड़ेगा, लोगों को समझाना पड़ेगा भाई OLX है क्या. So what was going on and what was the most challenging thing that you remember?
यार हम कोई भी अगर डिजिटल कंपनी को आज देखें, कोई भी, and I think digital is ubiquitous now. If you look at it, the genealogy or the anthropology of internet businesses, कुछ नहीं है, ऑफलाइन बिजनेस का ऑनलाइन वर्जन है. पॉलिसी बाजार के लिए पहले LIC एजेंट थे, मेक माई ट्रिप के लिए पहले ट्रैवल एजेंट्स थे, एंड सो फोर्थ. तो मतलब द यूजर बिहेवियर जस्ट गॉट ऑनलाइन, राइट? एंड विच इज़ वाई 2013-14 के बाद बूम हुआ था, क्योंकि phones became cheaper, data became cheaper, so all of a sudden people said कि हाँ चलो मैं इधर चला जाता हूँ. लेकिन OLX was such a thing कि the offline industry did not exist. मतलब if anybody you haven't used OLX, I mean like OLX when you sell your used goods to people like you and I. मतलब पहले the closest thing will be a kabadi wala, and which is where I mean we had to establish the industry, and then obviously that online. The degree of separation from a user's comfort zones were many. So without getting too technical, it was a monopolistic market. Till the time you don't get to 70-80% market share, you can't monetize well. And we had like an equally well-funded company, a much larger. We were 40 people in the first year of operations. They were 800, which was quicker. So, and they were about 10-12% larger than us. But I think Amar and I, we understood that what we have to do is expand the industry, not just like take the little bite of the very minuscule industry that's online. So I think that is a big challenge, because you had to change consumer attitudes. You had to just like, deploy. I'm like, my hand used to shake when I used to sign off on $2 million ROs, right? As a CMO, I used to, I'm like, I invested in 4 years upwards of $110 million. And again, nobody taught me. And that used to like scare me shitlessly. I'm like, that I'm signing off $2 million. My sign is on that. And the future of the company in a highly monopolistic market depends on this particular signature. So that is like a huge challenge.
Has it ever happened with you where because you're given P&L responsibilities, because you are dealing with so much of money, right? Something tanked very badly, and you felt very bad about it. But the next day you had to go there, address your team, and tell them, "Don't worry, guys, we'll sort this thing out." Has that happened to you?
Within the first 3 months. So I joined in Jan 2013. Within a month, we launched a campaign in February. So आते के साथ ही काम शुरू कर दिया था, and that campaign was going gangbusters. I mean, like February, March, we were growing like this. That campaign was doing really well. So my super boss, a Dutch guy called Martin Skietbauer, he once called me and he said, "Ki, hey, your numbers are good." I mean, that was the accent. Your numbers are good. Take $1.5 million extra. We have this from the global kitty. and see what you want to do with this one. Okay, ठीक है. And $1.5 million at that time was 8 to 9 crore rupees, 55 rupees per dollar. So coming April, this is in 2013, I said कि क्या करते हैं? मैंने कि this campaign is doing well. Let's expand the reach. I took on IPL. Yeah, so I took an associate sponsorship of IPL at 8.5 crore rupees, the first digital company to be on IPL. A certain number was promised to be by my media agency. By investing this 8-9 crore on IPL, you will get to a certain number of people. Fair enough. So the campaign starts, IPL starts, and I'm looking at my matrix on a daily basis, and I'm seeing that the numbers are flatlining. Like, ye kya ho raha hai? And I see my weekly media delivery numbers, they're 20% above the promised number. So my media deliveries are doing much better, my business numbers are stagnant. And this trend continued. In fact, my numbers started to go down. And that just like confounded me like to no end. And I'm getting calls from Cape Town and Amsterdam, which is where the leadership used to say, what's happening, why the numbers aren't growing? And I had no answer. And I didn't have an answer till the time IPL got over. So within the first 3 months, I failed spectacularly. I almost like batti laga di thi 8 crore rupees ki. Then I found out, I spoke with my customer support head. Because on OLX, what happens is you put a listing for your product that you want to sell, and that comes into the system, and then that goes live on the system for other people to look at and buy. So I said, kya ho raha hai? Leads kyun nahi aa rahi hain? Leads, we used to call it leads, right? Well, like, Gaurav, there's like one stupid trend that we have seen, that every time there's a 3:30 or 7:30, the leads go down. Why is this happening? And now you guys have to understand why curiosity is so important for a marketer, which I said. 3:30 and 7:30 were the time when the broadcast used to start for the matches. Yeah, and mobile internet was very small at that time. So if a person starts to watch the match, the internet traffic was going down, right? And 3 months later on Comscore, we saw India internet traffic had gone down during April and May. So while people are seeing my ads, they were not reacting to it because you were only on laptops and PCs at that time. This thing wasn't as big over there. That was like a huge failure. But then it led me to do something which I still do till this date, that I'm not going to depend on some external party matrix for me to deploy my millions of dollars.
Right.
And that's when I started doing econometric modeling, media mix modeling, statistical analysis to understand how to do better investment decisions. Because you guys read about $100 million raise, $500 million raise. In any B2C company, majority of that goes to the marketer. And majority of a marketer's P&L is the media cost that you pay to TV channels, Google's, Facebook of the world. So if my investment decisions are going wrong because of a tool that doesn't take into cognizance reach ka relation with your business, then you're going to be wasting that money very, very rapidly. So mercifully, that huge mistake came at the very early stage of my OLX career. And I think that was the difference because of which we started to make better investment decisions and beat quicker, like hands down.
Lovely. I'm going to skip your Girnar South journey here because I want to bridge your journey from OLX, where you were suffering because mobile internet was not so big, to a company that you shifted, which was Zupee. And Zupee is into online gaming. And probably Zupee also, in Zupee also you bet on IPL again, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong, but you can tell me that story as to how that improved this time around. So in Zupee, what was the kind of trend that you were seeing? Interestingly enough, you joined this particular organization when probably the entire nation was on their phones because COVID was also there. So how was that time like, and how did you evolve as a manager, and what did you see as trends is my question.
So I joined Zupee about in June of 21. Again, just post-Delta, but then this company was about $100 million at that time. And a lot of you won't have played Zupee games because Zupee is into real money gaming, Ludo, Snakes and Ladders. And typically our target audience is tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, 18 to 28, 29 males. So blue collar workers, right? So anyone in this room is not the target audience. So I'm very sure that you guys might not have played Zupee. But when I joined Zupee, the whole thing was RMG was already, real money gaming was already a big thing. Dream 11, Rami Culture, Bazi, MPL, Winzo, all these guys had already invested. Dream 11 had invested 3,000 crore by then. MPL had invested close to 2,000 crore. And everybody else had like invested 800, 2,000 crore. And here we were trying to create a category within RMG, because RMG as a category was either into fantasy sports,
Yeah.
which is where Dream 11 was the big daddy, and or card games like poker and rummy and all, which is where Gamescraft, Rummy Culture, these guys were making a lot of money. We started off casual and board games, Ludo and Snakes and Ladders, which is why we had an audience which is mostly in the smaller towns of the country. Now, when you're the last person and the others have invested so much of money, and people know that now you're doing something interesting, it can be very easy for like a Dream 11 to open up a Ludo game and so on and so on and take your mind away. So we had to, my problem statement at that time was in last year's IPL was to just make a lot of people understand what Zupee is all about and associate itself with the casual and board games, which is why I again went on IPL, invested close to 26 crore rupees. That is the brand launch for Zupee. And if you look at Google Trends, it's a very powerful tool, guys, use it. And search for Zupee as a brand term, that's when we started to see a hockey stick jump. Google Trends just tells you how many times are people searching for the search term that you just inputted. So Zupee being one. So Zupee, why is such an important thing? Because people are consciously thinking about you. It's called mindshare. If you get the consumer's mindshare, there's no stronger moat for you as a professional. So we induced huge amount of mindshare, especially around our category, by being on IPL and going to other places also. Like today, Zupee, till about a month back, which is where I was, month and a half back. When I joined Zupee, it was about a $100 million valued company. Today, the underlying valuation of the company is $1.8 to $2 billion. So in 2 years, we grew the company like massively. It's EBITDA profitable to the point of 13 to 14% EBITDA and 80% market share in the casual and board games RMG. So I think that one big decision kickstarted, and we did a lot of interesting things otherwise.
And there's a lot of work that's going on here as well. A lot of new companies also coming, and startups are also making into the, the big unicorn daddy lists, if I have to say. So in terms of these individuals who are probably looking at this video or listening to you, how much of a scope do you envision in this particular sector, and in order to be part of a puzzle that is the online games? What are the kind of things that I need to have in myself?
So online gaming, the first thing that you have to understand, has anybody heard of a principle called network effect? Anyone? That's the most crucial thing for any online gaming platform. Network effect usually happens in a C2C marketplace, consumer to consumer marketplace. Like I'll give you an example of Uber. Uber is a C2C platform. There are drivers, there's like a rider. Uber is a technology platform. So typically what happens is there's a supply and there's a demand. Supply being drivers, demand being riders. Yeah, clear? So what Uber did initially was that got like a lot of taxis on the road in San Francisco. Yeah, and they advertise, hey, if you want to get from point A to point B at a really cheap rate and really awesome cars, call an Uber.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden people wanted to do that. And that's where riders, the demand came in. The more demand came in, more supply came in, because all of a sudden drivers were, hey, there are a lot of people asking for cabs. So more supply came in. More supply came in, the waiting times went down and so on, so more riders came in. So this is called a network effect, guys. And the more suppliers and demand generators are there, this whole fundamental is called a very liquid marketplace.
Yeah.
Right? So anyone wants to get into real money gaming, this is a C2C marketplace, because you are playing against someone else whom you don't know. You are not playing against a bot. You are not playing against a technology. You are playing against another user. So it's a C2C marketplace. Now imagine if you got onto Zupee or any other RMG platform for the first time, and you say, okay, I'm going to put in 50 rupees and play this game, and you don't get to play the game because the others haven't joined that table. That's the break of your consumer experience. And you'll say, yaar, kya bakwas hai? I'm not going to come over here again. And not only will you not come here, but you'll also tell others not to go over there. And I waited for five minutes, nothing happened. Don't go onto that platform. Real money gaming is all C2C. And C2C, the winning play is network effects on a liquid marketplace. So guys, learn about this particular phenomena. Read upon liquid marketplaces and network effects. These are very powerful principles. And real money gaming is based on liquidity and network effects. But some of the biggest, just taking a leaf from that principle, Facebook, any of the social media networks, OLX, Uber, all these companies have been built only because of network effects and liquidity. And these liquidity and network effects are extremely hard to break. They are big moats. So if you can, it takes a long time to generate those, but once you generate, it's very hard for a competitor to come and take them away. Today, it's about a 3 billion market. It's the fastest growing entertainment vertical in the country. In the next 3 years, I think it's going to be a $5 billion market. And from there on, it's finger in the air.
Great. Okay, let's make some noise now. Let's talk about noise and why you wanted to be part of this particular startup. You know, we are kind of seeing a journey where you have hedged your bets for the startups more, and you kind of like to nurture the processes, set things on your own, and make things work your way. So, what is your grand plan with noise? And when you came in here, what shape did you see noise in, and how do you plan on making it bigger and better?
So Noise is an extremely rare company. I'm like, why I say rare? An Indian grown startup, bootstrapped and profitable, and not just on a small scale, on a very big scale. It's the biggest brand, it's the biggest business in the smartwatch category, 27% market share of the entire India smartwatch market, the third or the fourth largest smartwatch brand in the world. This is a category which is going to be growing at a CAGR of about 45%. It's at, the wearables category, the smartwatch category is at about $800 million today. By 28, this is expected to be about $3.2 billion. And this is one category where Indian brands have beaten the Chinese brands. And this might be one of those categories which India can export very well. So not only is this category doing very well in the country, but I think there's a very legitimate reason for all of us to be optimistic about India being a powerhouse in this category on a global stage. So that's what interested me. At its heart, it's still like a very young company. It's a very rare company. I haven't come across too many companies like this.
Right, and because it's a very young company, it has roped in brand ambassadors who are also pretty young and who attract these people. I'm talking about people like Virat, people like Rohit, Rishabh, Tapsi, and with roping these people in comes fat checks that you have to write to them also, and that increases your marketing spends, and that's where you need to limit things because you can't offshoot your budgets and do things on your own how you feel. So at this particular juncture, at this particular point, if I had to ask you, getting customers or customer acquisition, is it the biggest set of challenge that you have? And these kind of things that we do with brand ambassadors, do you see results from these effective results for the companies to grow?
I think Virat has been, getting Virat on board has been a decision that all of us thought very deeply about. Large amounts of money go in signing up a legend like Virat, but he has already started to show what his brand power does. I'll give you a very short-term tactical example of how getting a person like Virat helps your brand. Performance marketing, advertising on Google, Facebook of the world. Has anybody heard of this term called click-through rate, CTRs? Yeah? So in performance marketing, CTRs are extremely important because the higher the CTR, the less you have to bid to get the impressions and the clicks. Yeah, I'm being very, very broad, but then, so the moment somebody sees like a banner with Virat's face on it, the implicit trust or attention towards that particular banner and that brand starts to become a little bit better. And because of which your CTRs start to go up. Once the CTR goes up, if I was making a bid of 10 rupees earlier per click, now I can make a bid at 8 rupees and still get that click. So you're almost shaving off 20% on the largest spend on your P&L. So sometimes like the multi-crore that you would give to a really big brand ambassador, if that person starts to work for you, it starts to optimize your larger cost by a huge degree. And that's a very short-term tactical point that I'm giving you. Like Virat we started the campaign about a month back as soon as I came in. But he has been with us since December. So the performance marketing or the packaging with Virat, that started to make changes like this very, very visible in the short term itself. And over a longer course, I think these people, they just like a well thought of brand ambassador leads a lot of equity to the company. And this is something that I've been doing. At OLX, I had Kapil Sharma as the first brand ambassador. He did phenomenally well for us. But I also had Allu Arjun, Dhanush, and a couple of others for the southern markets, and so on and so forth. So I think if you do your homework properly, these can be force multipliers.
Before I finish this discussion with you, Gaurav, tell me a bit about how you are seeing technology changing the world of marketing in the upcoming days, because we are seeing interventions day in and day out. Every day, new things are coming up. Probably the models that you're talking about today are going to be obsolete tomorrow. So, how are you seeing it? How do you see upskilling going from here, in your opinion, and what should they be prepared of?
While we've been using the term marketing, for me, it's a growth philosophy.
Yeah.
Marketing is the most dynamic of all business functions that a company has. Every 6 months, you're going to be learning a new trick, which is going to be so outside your comfort zone that you're like, I'm like, why did I sign up for it? But I think with technology coming in, automation, I think we all there are a lot of these keywords that keep on flying around. But then at the core of it is that how do you make sure that each and every node kind of fits in with the almost like Lego. Everybody's played Lego, right? I mean, as a person who will be in the growth function, or some of you might be in growth function like marketing and so on and so forth, your ability to understand how does my product experience fits in with my performance marketing will be your single biggest muscle. Or how does my customer support need to understand the projections that I'm making on a campaign? Why is that such a critical thing? So more than tools and technology, I think, because these are going to proliferate. So when there's a new thing that happens in marketing, your job will be like, hey, how do I get back into the fold and make a Lego out of it? I think if that muscle is in good health, then I think you will be a good growth professional. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit overwhelming.
Superb. Thank you very much, Gaurav, for sharing so many things that happened in your journey. And I hope that it was a learning experience for people sitting here and people who are going to watch this. I am going to open the house for a few questions.
Hello, sir. Sir, what advice would you like to give to your junior who see himself at your position more or less in a lesser period of time?
I said that nobody's going to invest in your learning. So I think a lot of it has to be about self-learning. Do you pick out a mentor who can fast track your learning journeys and so on and so forth? Are you reading a lot? Are you just not sitting with the marketing folks only? Are you sitting with the product teams? Are you sitting with the analytics team and understanding how are they looking at the business? Because a marketer has to hold all these things together. And an innate sense of curiosity, because we are a country of 1.4 billion people, an extremely heterogeneous country. There's no way everything will go as you predicted. So usse kabhi ghabrana nahi hai. Lekin what you have to be scared of is not asking the questions. Like I gave that example of IPL flop, and my customer support head was able to give me some sort of a data point which I understood what's happening over there. So these 3-4 things, I think now people rise much faster. So वो तो वैसे भी होने वाला है. But you can fast track by maybe these 2-3 things.
Thank you so much, sir.
Right. We have a question here and there.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, just a quick question. Like, how can we leverage digital marketing, offline marketing, and TVC's channels for a company which wants to switch its channel from B2B to B2C as per today's trends?
The first thing is, rather than looking at say performance marketing or offline separately, look at the kind of audience that you want to reach. Because maybe earlier this question would have been very, very valid because digital marketing was smaller, offline was bigger, but now after internet and OTT and all these things and geo, I think digital marketing reach is bigger, if not, it's equal if not bigger than TV also. So depending on the target audience that you want to reach out to, you can use either or all of them. But one thing that's happening already is digital marketing has already made a lot of things obsolete, like radio, print. All these things have gone by the way. So the right question will be, how do you look at the right reach that you want to get to and then use the performance marketing or digital or TV or outdoor or radio, whatever you want to do. So be focused in the people you want to talk to. The mediums will come later.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So, as you're the CMO of Noise, and as you've already said that you have Virat Kohli on the I mean, on the platform, Tapsi Pannu is also there. So what do you think that there are many small influencers as well also, right? And we have, I mean, dedicated budget to the, marketing of any products or services which we have. So what's your take on this? That, I mean, how do you decide that what should we spend on small influencers which are there? And what is the return of investment on which we get there? And what about the big influencers which take heavy charges for the marketing budget? So what is the ROI for that?
So there can be like some standard ROI measures that you might have. Like I'll give you a very, very simple metric, a very tactical metric called say cost per view. Like you might be you might be running your ad on YouTube or Facebook, or you might be like having an influencer tell your product story and so on and so forth. So I'm like, one of the quick things that you can do is like look at this cost per view and see where you are on versus your good performing assets and all. But the larger question being, how do you use whom you use? It depends on the business objective. Like I'll give you a case. I'm like, if there's something which is very, very time bound, suppose if I were in Flipkart or Amazon and there's these big billion days and all these things happen, these are very time bound things. So you have to generate an insane amount of attention towards your brand across a huge amount of reach, right? And that time you can't go slow. So you will take the bigger guys who have already got that reach, and you might pay more also to do that, because your marketing objective or your business objective is to take this big billion day and all these to a large number of masses with a very high degree of attention. But suppose you have like a product which is a cash cow, which keeps on doing well and so on and so forth. You don't need this here and now kind of a thing. You can like use your smaller assets or the much more cheap assets and have that on a sustained basis. Every day you are like reminding people that this onion shampoo does well. And maybe it's a 365 days. Whereas a big billion day and all these things are very, very high reach, high impact kind of associations, which is where you'll go for someone bigger. Very, very quick understanding.
All right, I think we have run out of questions from the audience, and we have our next speaker also waiting. So thank you very much, Gaurav, for sharing once again, coming here and taking out time and doing this for us. I hope that it was helpful for them and people who are watching us on YouTube, and I hope that you do create some more noise in the process. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Paul. Have a great time.